Understanding football tactics, understanding Antonio Conte's tactics at Napoli this season. Napoli have just lost 6-2 in the Champions League to PSV. Public humiliation, there's trouble in paradise at the reigning Scudetto winners. All I need is 25 seconds of your time and I will explain to you stage 1, structure off the ball. Stage 2, structure and build up. And stage 3, structure in the opposition half. Let's get into it. Napoli this season, they set up in the 4-4-2 off the ball. You can see 2 rows of 4 with De Bruyne joining Luca or somebody like Rasmus Højlund to lead the line. Now, when playing out of the back, it turns into a 4-1-4-1 with De Bruyne stepping back into midfield and Gilmour or Lobotka would go and sit right in front of the defensive partnership. In this case, Buchema and Buongiorno against PSV. Now, once they enter opposition territory, this 4-1-4-1 becomes very chaotic, but we will explain that later. As you could see, everybody floods the box. You've got Spinazzola and Politano hugging the flanks. It leaves Buchema and Buongiorno literally sat on the halfway line as a 2-man defensive partnership with 50 yards of space to defend. Now, let me show you some in-game examples. This is the 4-4-2 shape of the ball. You could see 2 rows of 4 with De Bruyne joining somebody like Luca. No problem. There's nothing wrong with a 4-4-2 shape off the ball. This is the 4-1 shape in build-up. You could see Billy Gilmour sat right in front of Buongiorno and Buchema dropping deep to receive the ball and progress it. The majority of the times, this tends to be Lobotka. Now, this is where it goes wrong. I told you guys about the notorious 2-man defense on the halfway line. This is criminal. Like, this is criminal. And you know what's crazy? I probably never ever expected this from somebody like Antonio Conte. Somebody who, around the world, a lot of people label as pragmatic. Like he promotes the idea of pragmatism in football. This is crazy. This is a manager that's playing in such an offensive-minded way, but it lacks structure, number 1. It lacks cohesion, number 2. And it lacks any solid positioning of any single one of those players. Let me explain to you guys what I mean by positioning. When you look at somebody like Scott McTominay, the MVP, in the 4-4-2, he plays on the left-hand side. Now, Conte is not looking at McTominay and telling him, stick out wide on the left-hand side and put crosses into the box. No, the crosses are coming into you, hermano. You need to be the one in the box. So Scott McTominay, being a central player, being a player that automatically gravitates towards the center of the field, he now leaves the left-hand side for who? For Spinazzola. So that's now one of your 4 defenders who's pushed higher up. Politano, he hugs the right-hand side. Di Lorenzo naturally will gravitate higher up the field. Why? To offer him that underlap, to offer him that overlap, to create space for Politano to put crosses into the box. So that's now both fullbacks that have pushed high up the field for different reasons. It leaves Buchema and Buongiorno all alone with 50, 60 yards behind them to defend. This is criminal. Like, this is genuinely criminal because all it takes is for one cross to come into the box and the opposition clear it. You've got 2 players, 2 Napoli centre-backs having to defend 50 yards. And I'll be honest with you guys, against PSV, they came up against very technical forwards, very fast forwards, and they couldn't contain them. They genuinely couldn't contain them. This is where it's going wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with the 4-4-2 shape of the ball. If anything, I'm always promoting a 4-4-2 shape of the ball. I don't think there's anything wrong with a 4-1-4-1 shape in build-up. Where it goes wrong is this chaotic approach of just 2 on the halfway line, the fullbacks join the attack, and then everybody enters the box. Like, you could see it. Look at them. They're all cramping the box. They're all overloading the box. Anguissa is high. Luca is high. De Bruyne is high. McTominay is high. Gilmour is just outside the opposition box. And then on the right-hand side, you got Di Lorenzo. You got Spinazzola. You got Di Lorenzo and Politano. And then on the left-hand side, you got Spinazzola. This, I could probably show you guys now 10 examples of Buchema and Buongiorno all alone in the center of the field, 2-man defense, having to defend an entire island behind them. It doesn't matter who you come up against. If this is going to be your structure in the opposition half, you are in a lot of trouble. So the $1 million question is, why is Conte doing this? 1, I feel like he's trying to fit in a lot of big names into the team. Like, I really, really, really do. Number 1, I feel like if you're going to play a system that relies on wide players, play naturally wide players. So play players that are wide players by trade, wide players growing up through the academy, like players that are just wide players, not a McTominay who's a wide player on paper, but then in possession, he plays as like a centre forward. He plays as an extra midfielder. There's a reason why at the beginning of the video I said it's a 4-1-4-1, but it's very narrow. Like if you look at this photo, these are all of these midfielders in build-up. Look at them. Mctominay is not on the left-hand side. Look at them. They're all in the centre. Why? Because that's the way they want to play. They all gravitate towards the centre because they're all central players. And Anguissa is a central player. Mctominay is a central player. Kevin De Bruyne is a central player. Billy Gilmore is a central player. They all gravitate towards the centre. Sometimes Politano would tuck inside to allow Di Lorenzo on the overlap. This is why it's going wrong. Because you're playing a system that requires wide players, but you're putting central players in those positions. McTominay is a central player, but on paper playing out wide. He doesn't play as a wide player. I do look at somebody like Neres. I do look at somebody like Noa Lang and think, what were they signed for? Like Neres played his fair share last season, but somebody like Noa Lang, if you're going to play 4-4-2, even if you're going to play 4-3-3, put the players in their right positions. Because at the moment, it's looking like one, Conte is misprofiling for the sake of getting as many, I don't know, as many big names on the team sheet as possible. Two, it's really looking like square pegs in round holes. Like, I think that's the best way to put it. Square pegs in round holes. McTominay is not a wide player. Anguissa is not this advanced playmaker. No. I think Conte just needs to go back to putting the right players in the right areas. Because, for example, if you put McTominay in a central area and you sacrifice one of the midfielders, okay? You put Lang on the left-hand side. Lang is not going to drift inside because he's naturally a wide player. He will stay out wide. If he stays out wide, Spinazzola doesn't have to go and become a temporary left winger. No, Spinazzola can just overlap, underlap when the opportunity presents itself. It means he can now, at times, sit back with Buongiorno, with Bukama. And trust me, when you're defending with two players, one extra player can be a game changer. I'm actually very surprised to see this range of tactics by somebody like Antonio Conte, who, like I mentioned, this is a person that across the world is labelled as a pragmatic coach. Like, he just wants to sit back and he wants to defend. I feel like with this season, he's trying to fit in as many offensive-minded players as possible, but football doesn't work like that. If you want to fit in offensive-minded players, if you want to fit in defensive-minded players in your team, they need structure. For me, Napoli, they have structure off the ball. They have structure on the ball. They don't have structure once they enter opposition territory. And when you don't have structure, all it takes is one mistake, you're being exposed in possession, you're being exposed out of possession. And that's probably the main reason why PSV scored 6 goals, even though you could probably turn around and make a case Milinkovic-Savic should have saved 1 or 2. One of them was an own goal, and some of them were just sheer footballing brilliance from PSV. I don't want to make it sound like I'm speaking strictly about the game of PSV because, in my own opinion, I haven't really been too impressed with Napoli this season, even in the Serie A, where they've been winning, they've drawn some games, they've lost some games. I just look at the tactics, and I remember the first game against Sassuolo, I looked at it and I said, I don't know how long this can work, this whole 4 central players all in midfield, Anguissa, Lobotka, McTominay, Kevin De Bruyne. I don't know how it can work. And even if it does work, I guarantee you, it's going to take something away from your team, from the team that won the Scudetto just 4 or 5 months ago. This is the Antonio Conte system. Napoli fans, make sure to let me know what you think. Where's it going right? Where's it going wrong? Who's to blame? Should Conte be sacked? Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.